Okay, good morning. It's 7:08 a.m. here on KFYO Mornings. And as promised, we have Gail Barnes with us, the Executive Director of the South Plains Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. Boy, that's a mouthful. Can you get all that on a business card?
I sure can. We abbreviate it by SPWRC.
Okay, good morning, Gail. How
Good
are you?
morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you off mic this morning. And of course, I knew that there was a wildlife rehab center here because I had an incident in our park down there. We have kite birds,
Mississippi kites.
Mississippi kites, and boy,
Yes.
you talk about a bird that is territorial.
Right.
They not only are territorial, but they will put a scar in your head.
A lot of places put signs up when they're nesting.
Yep.
They're back in the area. They usually only have one clutch a year, which means one litter. And so they're very protective of their litter.
Well,
but
they're-
you've got to realize that these birds fly to South America and back.
Geez, well, they're tougher than I thought they were.
Yeah, and they only weigh half a pound. So people tell me that these birds have put stitches in their heads.
Yes, sir.
More than likely,
They-
the man has seen this bird come flying at him, been scared to death, and hit himself.
Yeah,
Because they're not big enough to put stitches, but they can sure scare you when they have their wings spread and they're dive bombing you.
Yeah. Well, I was with Steve Dale years ago out at Hillcrest Country Club, and we were playing in a golf tournament. It was a Texas Tech golf tournament of some kind, Coach's Day or something. And the kites were nesting out there, and they have one in nearly every tree. I exaggerate only slightly. But Steve, he was bald headed, and he was out there without a cap, and that kite came down. He was standing over his ball, concentrating on that, and that kite came down and caught him in the back of the head, and it cut his head open all the way to the front. And I mean, the blood was just pouring down. So that was my first introduction to kite birds. But then there's kites that are nesting down in our park, and they'll nest. I don't know how many weeks, but there's a few weeks there while they're nesting, and they attack everybody that walks by the walking trail, and they try to hit you in the top of the head and cut you with their whatever those talons.
The talons.
Yeah.
Well, they do dive bomb, and they are very aggressive. My suggestion to people is to carry an umbrella or to wear your cap, but turn the brim to the back because the brim looks like a predator to them, and they will dive bomb you. But if you turn it to the back, it's not so intimidating to them.
That's what we need is a great big bird head, that cap that you wear that looks like a predator. Anyway. Well, you guys, I've learned a lot. You're a nonprofit organization.
Correct.
You're funded by donations.
Donations.
You have one paid employee.
And a part-time intern. We operate off of volunteers. We're very unique. We were started in 1988 in our founder's kitchen with a mockingbird. From then, we grew where she bought the property on 95th in Indiana, 3308 95th Street, next to the Indiana Baptist Church. And with donations, we've gradually grown on the property. It's a little over an acre. We used to take in only several hundred animals, and now last year the count was 3,164 different species.
What kind of species do you take?
We take all native wildlife species, from songbirds to reptiles to raptors to mammals to waterfowl, snakes. Oh, I mentioned reptiles. We take in everything but raccoons. And mainly we don't take in raccoons because people do not want raccoons on their property.
So if you take them in, you can't get rid of them.
Well, basically, but we do have a spot that if somebody does bring us some, we can take them up to Amarillo where they do raise them.
Mm-hmm. So what are the most interesting animals you've had?
Well, of course, I think the raptors or the owls are the most interesting. Other people will say the mammals are interesting. We get bobcats, badgers, skunks, deer, fawns.
No, you got to be careful with skunks. Do you take the sack out?
No, they're going to be released back to the wild. We don't keep them. So skunks don't spray what they can't see. So if you cover them up, they're not going to spray you. But they're born with the ability to spray. So when you feed them, you just keep that little tail down and keep them wrapped in a blanket, and they will not spray you.
Yeah, famous last words. Okay. Well, I am no fan of squirrels, and I know you take in squirrels. People who cater to squirrels, I don't understand. They are a rat with a tail, is the way I view them, and they are very destructive to your property. They'll chew like a rat would. They'll chew holes in your roof, which they have at my house. So, but you do take in squirrels.
We don't discriminate on native wildlife what we raise, but
Where do you release them?
we release them in the county. We do not release them in the city limits because, like you said, a lot of people do not like them.
We've got enough of them.
So we have a lot in the city limits, but we do have a waiting list of people that do like them in the counties.
They just don't know any better yet. Well, anyway, so you have a fundraiser coming up.
We have a very special fundraiser coming up. We're celebrating our 30th anniversary on this Thursday, April 5th, at the Texas Tech Frazier Alumni Pavilion, which is right across from Jones Stadium. Tickets are $50, and it is from 5:30 to 8. We have a band that's going to be playing Irish Celtic music. We have silent auction with a lot of different items and heavy hors d'oeuvres. I'm going to have some of the ambassadors out there. Come and join us. You can still get tickets, and you can pay at the door. Just call the Wildlife Center, 799-2142 for reservations, and we will put you down. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. Again, you operate purely on donations throughout the year. Do you have some large backers that contribute to you every year?
We have a donor base that contributes to us every year, but we depend on people that bring the animals into us to give us donations. And our grants for our improvements or maintenance, come from different foundations here in Lubbock, but that's not used for salary. And we have only one paid employee and one intern, so we're very unique in the fact that we operate off of volunteers and interns from Tech and other universities that come here to learn.
So, do you have any veterinarians?
We operate with several veterinarians. They are one of the backbones, and Texas Tech University. Several professors come out and help us identify the new species that come in, or if we get a species that has not been in this area for a long time, we will call them and they will come out. So we're very fortunate to be here in Lubbock and have the resources that we do have.
What do you do if somebody brings something that's not a native species? For example, I know they have in Florida, they have a lot of problems with some of the snakes that have been introduced that aren't native.
We do take snakes. We do work with one of the professors at Tech that's a herpetologist, and he will help us find a place for the snakes.
You don't take poisonous snakes, do you?
Well, we've had rattlesnakes.
Really?
Rattlesnakes are beneficial.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
They kill rats.
I carried a rattlesnake in a trash can to the veterinarian one time, and it was rattling. The trash can was
Probably
rattling.
wasn't very happy.
No.
Moved around.
Yeah.
But, hey, you want to get rid of squirrels, get some rattlesnakes on your property.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I'd trade a squirrel for a rattlesnake, no. Well, once again, talking with Gail Barnes, Executive Director of the South Plains Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. Big fundraiser coming up. Tell us about it again for the people who missed it.
It's Thursday, April the 5th from 5:30 to 8 at the Texas Tech Frazier Alumni Pavilion across from Texas Tech. We're going to have hors d'oeuvres, music, a silent auction. Come meet. Our volunteers will be out there. Some of our interns will be out there. This is a milestone for the Wildlife Center. We're one of the only nonprofits that's truly based on just volunteers and interns and takes donations. So we're pretty unique.
Okay.
Do y'all have a website?
We do. It's the 3Ws, spwrc.org. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. So go and look at some of the animals that we've brought in. Yesterday I posted about several of the great horned owls I'm getting in, the chicks, and I have some real good pictures on there.
Yeah, okay. Gail, appreciate you coming out and bringing us up to speed on all that.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.